Hi there. Today I want to talk about healthy communication because it's probably one of the hardest things to do. And it's one of the things that I'm really learning how to do with my own family, including my ex husband. And what's happening right now is this very interesting, it's a really interesting time for me to really look at my behaviors and really sit with like this loop that I've been talking about of passing this box around of blame and shame, and how that really resolves, or how that really does not ever resolve anything. How it just keeps us perpetuating these cycles that we grew up with. And there's so many words that are used, and I've been using them also. But what I'm recognizing is there are words that the professionals use, and they're very good words. But I'm wanting to move beyond that to get to a space where the words that I use are more meaningful and more heartfelt. And one of the words that I really recognized these last few days is the word hurt. Like, we use the word pain, but pain is just kind of this label. There's not a lot of what am I trying to say? It's like there's not a lot of emotion involved when you say the word pain. And I use that word all the time. Pay attention inward now. You're in pain. Get through the pain to get through to get to the peace. But what if we just say I am hurting? Like, when you say I'm hurting right now, it feels like there's this more human feel to that. And then when you look at the word trauma, again, we were hurt. We were hurt by someone when we were growing up. The word abuse also, hurt people. And I'm really guilty for this. I'm really guilty for this. I see patterns. I've seen behaviors, and I paint this picture of abuse. And what I'm really sitting with now is hurt people hurting people, and and how much we can get into our hearts when we see that. And like I said, I'm getting out of this state of blame, that everything that happened was somebody else's fault. Because if we make it somebody else's fault, we deny ourselves this opportunity to really truly to heal those hurt parts of ourselves. So this is what I want to keep talking about, because people hurt one another. That's a fact of life. And it doesn't mean that you have to invite them over for dinner and be BFFs again. But what it means is that we get to learn how to communicate with people that we may not have been talking with before, and people that we have been blaming before. And that's a really beautiful thing. I was sitting this morning because there's a lot going on with my family right now, and I'm seeing so much of it as being my responsibility. You know, ways that I've been parenting as a co-parent, and doing a really shitty job in a lot of ways, because I was hanging on to so much blame, and that hurts my children. That hurts our children when we can't communicate properly. And sometimes there is another person that is not easy to communicate with, but it doesn't mean but staying in a state of blame is not going to help anything. And it's easier said than done. I'm telling you that this is like a lifelong process. And when I was sitting this morning looking at the word communication, I really heard like the word communion show up. Like, when we're communicating, the end result should be coming together. Like, that's what the word communion means, is coming together. And that's not often what happens with communication. What happens during communication is somebody sets out to be right, and they do everything that they can to prove that they're right. And, and I'm not going to say, I used to think that it was men. Men don't know how to communicate. And then men think that it's women that don't know how to communicate. So I'm here to say, you know what? I think it's all of us. Like, I really think it's all of us. And until we take this responsibility for our part in it, like I said, we're denying ourselves the opportunity to heal that hurt. Why do we want to hang on to hurt? Because, like I said, hurt people hurt people. I don't want to be a hurt person who's hurting somebody else. And if it's somebody in our family, then our kids suffer. Our kids suffer because we can't get to a place where we see another person's perspective. And it all starts with, like, number one, getting into your heart, because we react from hurt and we respond from our heart. And this is a process. This is a daily process. And this is what I do every single morning. Put my hand on my heart. I spend at least an hour in the moment just processing the emotions that are showing up and listening to the thoughts that are going through my mind. And eventually I get to this place where I'm in my heart and I'm not reacting from the hurt. And this isn't like, okay, so I do this and I'm in my heart 24/7 and I'm a perfect parent and I'm a perfect everything. That's not true, because stuff through your day is going to pull you back into the hurt. And you're in the hurt because you're anxious, you're afraid, you're angry. Like, these are all really good indicators that you're not in your heart. When I'm in my heart, nothing fucking bothers me. I can do anything. I can deal with anything. Life is good. It's all according to a divine plan for a divine purpose. That's how I feel when I'm in my heart. But then when things start to pull me out, I start to react again from my fears. That's when I yell at my kids. That's when I can't see the beauty in this life that we've been given. That's when I get afraid of, answers or things that I'm going to have to go through. That's when I regret things from the past or feel guilty or shameful or blame another person. So there's living in the moment in our hearts, and there's living as we're reacting from this hurt. So I want to keep talking about this, because the more we hear it, the more we're going to actually start to acknowledge it and catch it before it takes us over. On Sunday, I just totally lost my shit, and not proud of that. But I was like yelling like I haven't yelled in a long time. And what I realized is, holy shit, I'm overtired. I'm over, like, I'm just overstimulated because I'm thinking too much about, going to the doctor and getting these tests and things that are going on with my family and, the what ifs of life. And I really had to check in and recognize that I need a break. I need a break from other people's problems. I need a break from the world's problems. I just need to enjoy summer. Like, we are blessed with this beautiful summer, and we don't have many days of it. So, yeah, like, what I want to talk about, or what I am talking about, is really truly, when you want to communicate with someone, get into your heart first. Because if you're not in your heart, like I said, you're being pulled by your hurt and you're not listening. You're proving. You're trying to prove that you're right. You're trying to prove that the other person is wrong. You get into this cycle. You're back into the cycle. So getting into your heart means put your hand on your heart. Breathe. Feel this moment and just stay here. And like, get to that place where you feel the peace. And when you feel the peace, that's when you can sit down and talk to another person with full intention that you're going to listen. And you might not like what you hear, but I guarantee there's something in it for you.